Hi, I'm Yava, and I would like to discuss the Nigerian Data Protection Act General Application and Implementation Directive Guide 2025 with you today. Are you aware that on the 20th of March 2025, the Nigerian Data Protection Commission launched the General Application and Implementation Directive? Yes, the long-awaited directive is finally here. The directive has 117 pages, 52 articles, and 10 schedules. Oh yes, it is not a review of the act. No, it is not. It is a directive, a guideline that gives guidance on how to implement the provisions of the act. I must tell you, there are outstanding directives in this document. One of it is the fact that we no longer have to keep quoting NDPR while working with NDPA. Oh yes, this directive lays the Nigerian Data Protection Regulation of 2019 to rest. Article 3, subsection 3 specifically says, upon the issuance of this directive, the Commission shall cease to apply the Nigerian Data Protection Regulation of 2019 as a legal instrument for regulating data privacy and protection. So we all need to now focus on quoting the NDPA and no longer NDPR, NDPA. NDPR, NDPA. Oh yes, I also find that, should I say funny? Where you have to keep quoting NDPR and then we have NDPA. Oh, so finally, that's in the past. Yeah, another outstanding provision of this directive is the fact that it places limitations on the exemptions. While the Act provides that where the Commission deems fit, it shall exempt certain organizations from registration and annual filings. Such organizations include community-based associations, faith-based organizations, foreign embassies and high commissions, judicial establishments or bodies carrying out adjudicatory functions. Then multi-governmental organizations are exempted from registration and annual filing. But the directive provides that despite these exemptions from registration and annual filing, these bodies are still required to process personal data in line with the principles of the Act. So principles such as lawful, fairness, transparent. So when these organizations are processing data, they must apply these principles. Another directive of note is the shifts in the annual filing date. Prior to this time, the annual filing date was on or before the 15th of March each year. The directive now makes it on or before the 31st of March each year. Prior to this time, the Act provided that 6 months after the commencement of the Act, organizations were required to register as data processors and data controllers of major importance. However, now that the 6 months post commencement of the Act is over, the directive now provides that organizations, new organizations definitely, are required to register 15 months from the commencement of its operations. Oh yes! One major confusion that the directive finally puts to rest is the question of who is a controller of major importance, who is a processor of major importance. I've spoken to several data protection officers and this was a major issue for them. Several persons were confused. Am I a data processor of major importance? Am I a data controller of major importance? Yes. Finally, the directive puts that to rest. And it does that by having beyond the three classifications of data controllers which we had in the Act, which was the ultra high level, the extra high level, and the ordinary level. Remember, the ordinary level does not file annual reports, and so the ultra high level and the extra high level that files annual reports have been categorized into three tiers. So the ultra high level has the class A, which is greater than 50,000 data being processed, class B for 49,999 to 25,000 data being processed, and then class C less than 25,000. Then for the extra high level, we have greater than 10,000, tier B 5,000 to 2,500, and then tier C less than 2,500. I'll take that again. So for the data controllers of major importance, they have now been tiered. The guideline now classifies data controllers of major importance into tiers beyond the classifications we previously had. So under the ultra high level, we have greater than 50,000 data being processed under tier A. Under tier B, we have 49,999 to 25,000. This is tier B. And then tier C, we have less than 25,000. All these fall under the ultra high level. And then for the extra high level, we have less than 10,000 for tier A. For tier B, we have 5,000 to 2,500. And then for tier C, we have less than 2,500. This tier-based classification also influences the filing fees. So for the tier A of the ultra high, which is greater than 50,000, we have the filing fee at 1 million naira. And then for tier B, we have the filing fee at 750,000. And then for tier C, we have the filing fee at 500,000. Other provisions of note include the tweak or the fleshing out of the provision on consent. A few activities have been specifically outlined as requiring consent without prejudice to others that may require consent, such as direct marketing, processing for children, processing for a purpose other than the original purpose, amongst others. And then the provision makes room for implied consent. Oh yes, the provision on the appointment of data protection officers by data processors and controllers of major importance has been expanded. Now beyond the Act that states that controllers and processors of major importance are to appoint a data protection officer, the guideline now provides that such officers must be qualified professionals. And it doesn't leave this qualification at the discretion of the controller. It requires that the commission itself shall carry out an annual credential assessment of all such data protection officers. And so the guideline provides in the schedule the basis for assessment of these data protection officers. And then beyond the provision to make complaints to the Commission by aggrieved data subjects, there's now the option of such aggrieved data subjects to also engage with the data controller or data processor with whom they are aggrieved. And so the standard notice to address grievance is part and parcel of the guideline, and the document for this is also included in the schedule. Indeed, there are several provisions in this directive that completely fleshes out the expectations of the Act and makes implementation way easier. And so whether all those room for confusion has been finally shut out, everyone can now be sure of what it is that is expected from them and how to implement, and the uncertainties have been ironed out slowly. Some of the schedules in the guideline include principles of data protection, the data protection officer assessment, the data privacy impact assessment, guideline on cross-border data transfers. There's also the notice on registration of controllers and processors of major importance. There's also data subjects vulnerability indexes, and like I said earlier, the SNAG, which is the data subjects standard notice to address grievance, and then the audit return filing fee is in Schedule 10. Oh yes. Also, the legitimate interest assessment template is Schedule 8. So yeah. So many templates are being provided to aid the smooth implementation of this Act. Yes, several articles. You know, how to evaluate exemption to the Act. You know, beautiful plans, such as we have in Article 4 that talks about cooperation between the Commission and public authority. I wish we could dive into all the articles today, but then, like I said, it's 52 articles. Yes. Although Article 52 is for definitions, but then that makes it 51 articles. But I'm thinking, how about we take a few days to have a deep dive? If you subscribe to the channel, put on your notification, you will know when we come back to take a deep dive into other sessions of this directive. But I must be honest, this is a huge giant stride. Yes, giant stride in the implementation of data protection. Let's all agree the sector is still expanding, and I believe this is the right step in the right direction. Yeah, so many persons have raised concerns. Why is it 117 pages? Why is it not sector by sector arranged? Why is this and why is that? The concerns are genuine, but then it is better to have something than to have nothing. So I'll be glad if you can subscribe to the channel, put on your notification button, so that when next we have a video looking at the other provisions of this directive, you will be notified. Yes, we will take a few days to comb through this directive article by article until we hit the final one, Article 52. I look forward to having you there while we do this together. I'm sure you will enjoy it because I am enjoying it myself. Oh yes, I am. I'm really honestly glad that we have this directive, and like we said, it's helping to lay so many concerns to rest, putting an end to several confusion. I look forward to having you join me. very, very soon, of course, very, very soon, where we'll take a further deep dive at these articles. And until then, thank you for being here. I am Yaba.